Good morning and welcome to another episode of the ZMC Business Hour. Since we last met, a lot has happened. We have a new tier in the UK. Many of us are in tier 4. We have a new strand of the coronavirus. Wherever you are, whichever part of the country you're in, whichever tier you're in, we hope you are well and safe. The ZMC Business Hour, a business show dedicated in bringing you the very best in local news. Every week we bring you prominent figures from the business community, from the business world, who come and share their knowledge, their expertise and their advice, and collectively we all learn. Today we have a fantastic guest, a medical professional, but not a typical, like when we say medical, we think of doctors, we think of surgeons, we think of certain specialties. But our guest today is a podiatrist. Now, I didn't even know what the word meant up until I met this chap. So we should be speaking with him this morning about podiatry and about creating a brand. To all our viewers, we are zooming live on Facebook Live, on Instagram and on Twitter. Please feel free to share our feeds. And if you have any questions today throughout the show, please feel free to drop them into the comment section below. So our guest this morning is an elder brother to me. I share the same name as him. He's an advisor, he's a mentor. Can we please welcome to the show Dr. Abid Hussain, also known as Dr. Foot.
Also known as Dr. Foot.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. I know it's Sunday morning, but thank you, but thank you for giving us your time.
It's a pleasure, absolute pleasure.
So before we begin, there's been a lot of political unrest lately, and a lot of storms, and a lot of noise happening. We are in a very strange place, let's say, with another tier being introduced now, and a new strain of the virus. It's troubling times for many.
It is, and I think it's put a new psychological pressure on people, because a lot of people, one, they were scared to leave the house anyway, but now with this new tier 4 and just the thought of a new strain has really scared people. But what people don't realize is there are millions of strains of the normal flu anyway. So viruses like this mutate generally, and that happens every single year. It's just that every single year we don't have COVID-19. But yeah, this is a troubling time, and I think it's the north-south divide has become evident.
Yes. Well, we have a vaccine, so there is some sunshine at the end of the horizon, and hopefully this new tier will remain in the south. But looking at the news this morning and how people were fleeing London last night, I'm just a bit worried that those passengers that are traveling on the trains may be carrying the virus with them and spreading it on a national level. But our viewers, wherever you are, whichever tier you're in, whichever part of the country you're in, stay safe. We will get through this. So, Abid, podiatry. Before I met you, I must confess, although I've had many issues with my ankles and my feet, I never actually knew what podiatry meant. So, podiatry, could you give our viewers an overview as to what podiatry is?
So I have been a podiatrist for 25 years. As I tell my patients, don't be fooled by these amazing good looks. I'm really old.
Look that old to be clear with you. So I'm starting to get old. At a young age.
I mean, I'm extremely passionate about being a podiatrist. I think it's the best job in the world, and just the ability to be able to help people to walk better. Podiatry for me goes back such a long way. I was 17 years old, so we're going back to 1991. As part of my college course, I had to do some work experience. Now, me being the naughty kid I was when I was 17, I used to go to these like daytime Bhangra gigs. I don't know if you remember them, because you probably were there as well.
Oh my God. Okay.
and I got fired from my like work experience placement. So I had to finish off my work experience. So I
Yeah.
ended up doing 2 weeks at the Matthew Bolton School of Podiatry, which is when I got introduced to podiatry, and just watching students treat other patients, and just the sheer vast a scale of podiatry. And I'm going to go through what my typical day looks like in a minute. But at that age, I fell in love with podiatry. I thought this is an awesome profession, and I still remember it. My job at that age was to escort patients to these students. And I had an elderly lady who couldn't walk. It was in so much pain. She went to see the student, she got treated, and she walked back with me with a skip. And I thought, wow,
Wow.
just the ability to change symptoms. And at that age, I knew this is what I want to be, and this is what I want to do. And it's the sheer vast scale of what we do. So yesterday was my last day in clinic because I've got a 10-day gap now. And I saw everything from a 14-year-old kid to 15-month-old baby, 2 footballers. I saw a couple of marathon runners and normal podiatry treatment as well. So I've done everything from knee injections, foot injections, to looking at kids yesterday. And I had a full day in clinic, as well as skin surgery and everything else that we do as well. That's why I love podiatry. I think I always encourage young students, especially BAME students, to join this profession, because we need more of us in this profession.
Do you not feel that the BME community, there may be a slight stigma attached to being a foot doctor as such? I mean, when you say doctor, I mean, every Asian, or shall I say, every parent's dream, irrespective of their background, is that their child becomes a doctor. And obviously every child wants to become a doctor. But when you say doctor, there's a certain thought, and a brain surgeon, a heart surgeon, but a foot doctor, is that?
I'll tell you what, I'll tell you a story. When I discovered podiatry, I went to my mum and dad, and my dad was alive then. And I went to my mum, and my mum goes, "You're gonna touch feet? You're not gonna touch feet." And it took some convincing. It took a lot of convincing for my parents to say yes, because they didn't understand the scope of podiatry. I think now our profession has done a good job to promote podiatry, but I still think that Black and Asian kids are not choosing this as a career option, and there's still a certain type of like stigma attached to it. And I think that is slowly getting better over the years. It's much better than when it was when I was in the 90s. It's completely changed now in this day and age.
It's not every day that I actually vouch for my guests, but I've personally had treatment for myself, and being as active as I am playing sports, I really appreciate what difference you made in my in my walking ability and my ability to run again, and it's actually life-changing treatment you do, because prior to meeting you, I had resigned to the fact that maybe they say that you're too old to be playing football, or you're too old to be doing this, and I had thought that maybe my legs were sending me signs that forget it, sunshine, and whereas realistically you just needed a little twitch from yourself, which kind of revolutionized the way I walk and I run and I do my boxing. So it is a very valuable profession. Do you believe people are aware of your presence? Do you believe people, because I didn't know for 40 years, and I had an operation on my ankle, after which I underwent so many different types of physiotherapy. I never knew, despite all that people like yourself exist. So do you believe that maybe it's an undersold profession, or maybe it's not vast out there?
It's not marketed well. So someone like me that specializes in sports injuries and like other MSK conditions, there's very few of us. There's very, very few of us. And I think patients don't realize that podiatry can help with these type of conditions. I think when patients think about podiatry, they think about the basic stuff like corns and verrucas and ingrowing toenails, which obviously we can do. I mean, that's a given. But the more advanced stuff, that when we can help with lower back pain, when we can help with knee pain, ankle pain, when we can get you to do the activities that you love to do. So one of my biggest buzzes is getting a patient who's a footballer or runner or cricketer. I'm seeing loads of like rugby players at the moment, getting them back to the
You're
field.
also the doctor for a sports charity, I believe, Birmingham Youth Sports Academy,
The
and
Birmingham Youth
you
Sports
look after
Academy.
and you look after the football teams for the organisation.
I do, and it's been a massive learning curve over the past couple of years. Treating kids from a very young age, 13, 14, all the way up to 18, seeing every type of sports injury you can. And it's been very interesting. During this COVID time, since March, I've had to do rehab for kids that have had injuries that I wouldn't normally be doing rehab for because they couldn't get to see a physiotherapist. So patella dislocations, ACL injuries, these are serious injuries, right? They would normally have a physiotherapist, but I've been rehabbing them back, which has been very interesting. But yeah, I love the Birmingham Youth Sports Academy, and I know you do as well. I think it's a very worthwhile organisation, and all the activities they do with the mentoring of the kids, as well as the football, as well as all the out pitch activities they do is really worthwhile.
Brilliant. So you're a podiatrist. Now we seem to find that the medical profession isn't too good at marketing itself, and I've always found this. And I run networking events, and of late, in the past 12 months or so, I would say, we've found that a lot more medical professionals have been attending the networking events. Now, maybe this is a sign of things to come with the NHS and all the rumors about privatization and this and that. And a time now has come where the medical professional has had to come out of his shell and sell his services. Now, you do this very, very well. And the topic of the show today is creating a brand, although you're a podiatrist and that's got nothing to do with feet. But we wanted to discuss creating a brand. You've got a very big social media following, and I do watch your videos. And I think you're one of the very first who, dare I say, has revolutionized the way the business is done in your industry, because there's not many professionals like yourself, particularly from the medical background, who are putting content out there. How important has that been for you?
It's been very, very important. I mean, I've been an early adopter, and I understand the landscape of social media. And I think more podiatrists, physiotherapists, osteopaths, there's so many dentists, so many medical professionals that are now understanding the landscape and creating content that is appropriate for that landscape. Because before you would put the same content on everywhere, and now, especially with the emergence of like TikTok and LinkedIn, those two platforms are giving you massive organic growth. And we're going to talk about that a little.
TikTok? A podiatrist on TikTok? That's unheard of.
That was unheard of until I started it off.
Wow.
But I like the concept of social media, and I think you can let people know you, like you, and trust you. Because what that is ultimately, that's not just with health professionals, with any business. If they get to know you, like you, and trust you, they are more likely to become loyal followers, more likely to engage with you and refer you on to other people, which is the golden nugget of every single business, even yourself. Everybody wants to get that to a stage where you're trusted enough that people want to refer you on. So how do you develop that brand? How do you develop that on social media? One of the first things is be genuine. Don't try and be something you're not. Don't try and fake it till you make it, because in this day and age, you will get caught out. It's just a matter of time that you will. And do it with integrity. Don't just go for the quick buck. And there's so many people you know as well on social media, just to get some attention, they will do X, Y, and Z. So if you want to build a brand, understand that your brand has values, and you need to be sure. You need to be sure about your values before you even go down this road. Because if your values are that you want to display yourself with integrity and you want people to trust you, then you have to put that content out. But also, you can't be fake to yourself. I mean, you know me quite well, and you know normally I have quite like a potty mouth, so I'm behaving myself quite a lot today. But I mean, I will put out content with me using expletives on certain platforms, but I wouldn't do it on every platform. So the thing with social media is don't treat each platform the same way. Give each platform its due importance. It's all important. You wouldn't treat every restaurant you go to and expect the same kind of food in each single restaurant. And I think a lot of the reason why businesses, I'm not talking about just health professionals, I'm talking about every business. Why don't they put out content on social media, Abid? You tell me. Why are they not doing it? Because everybody knows they should be doing it.
So this is Abid interviewing Abid, Abid interviewing Abid.
Yeah.
Okay. So my perspective is, I mean, I speak to a lot of people about this. I was speaking to someone about this last night about, why don't you use these mediums? Why don't you use platforms? And the first thing is people are nervous, very, very nervous. And I want to come on to that with you next as well about nervousness and about your stuttering. But people are nervous. Then they sometimes don't have the vision of what to put out there. And sometimes they're so narrow-minded and so stuck in what they're doing that they can potentially forget what the audience wants to see. Like I had a conversation last night with somebody about burgers. And he said to me, we make simple filet burgers. I said, but how can you make that creative? How can you put that in a video format and make my mouth water when I watch the video? And I showed him some other videos that other restaurants were putting out. And I said, well, you've got this technology in your hand. I mean, your phone now, your phone device, you've got that many apps that you can create videos. You don't need to go to professionals. You can do a half decent job yourself. But I think it's mainly people are nervous and people are scared to take the plunge.
Let me tell you what I think it is. And I think it comes down to a couple of different factors. I think, first of all, a lot of health professionals and a lot of businesses are not doing it because, one, they have a lot of fear. They have a fear about what people are going to say about them. They have a fear if they put some content out there, they are going to get negative comments back. And that is a big one, especially for health professionals, because health professionals have got... they can be rather fragile. So if you get people that are commenting negatively, you need to employ compassion with these people. Just feel sorry for them. I don't have time to watch the content that I like. Forget about watching content I don't like and putting in like a negative comment on that. You would have to have a lot of time on your hands in a certain type of personality. And also, there's some people that don't believe in the impact of it, and that always surprises me because I thought it was a given now, but there are some people that don't believe. For example, that example that you gave of a guy that is selling filet burgers. You could run a whole campaign for 30 days with different things about that and use different mediums and different videos. In fact, you could just go around the streets giving people your burger and getting them to take a bite and say, what do you think? That's a content on its own. That's a 30-second, 40-second content on its own. You could compare two burgers and say, this is A and B. And then if they like A, say, this is our burger. Bob's your uncle. But when it comes to social media, I think people need to develop content that's going to help people. So you give. And then you ask. You don't demand. Give. Just like you're a boxer, you jab, then you throw a right hook. You don't just throw a right hook. So it's the same thing with content online. You need to give people useful content and not just put up memes. Memes have a place, okay? Just a picture with a bit of writing has its place, but how is it really going to help somebody in their day-to-day life? And you need to be able to use the current events that are going on. So, for example, this year has all been about COVID. It's been about grants for businesses. It's been about businesses closing down. It's been about customers. All of that. You can incorporate like those trends within your content. So, for example, if I was developing a Twitter strategy for a business, I would look at the trends of that day, and I would like a piggy bank off that trend and put out my own content that was relevant to that trend, to that particular thread. And now you can do similar things on Facebook. The beauty, and I think you've understood this as well, the beauty of video is that you can take a long form video So if somebody was selling furniture, you could take a long form video of you doing a review about furniture, a particular item of furniture, or you talking about how it was manufactured, how it was ethically manufactured, how the workers were treated well. You could create that into a long form. Then you could make shorter forms for Instagram and for TikTok. Or you could change that content so that it would be suitable for Instagram and TikTok. But it's about playing that long game. This is not a short game. And it's not something that you should expect a instant gratification for. I've been doing this for years now, and I get patients from all over the world. Before COVID, I was surprised. Actually, I wasn't surprised because I know I'm very good at what I do. But people would catch a plane to come to the greatest city in the world, which is Birmingham, stay here for a week just to get treated by me. And this would happen on a regular basis. So I have 2 clinics. I have one in Birmingham and one in London. And to a point where I couldn't cope. I just could not cope, working from morning till night. And it was mainly off the back of social media. I actually did that. So you can build not just your brand, but you can build your entire business off the back of social media. If you know how
but when it comes to putting out content and people being nervous, I mean, you clearly, like myself, have a speech impairment. Doesn't that make the picture a bit more?
Let me tell you a story. When I was younger, I had such a bad stammer. I couldn't get a sentence out. I still stammer. I mean, you must have noticed a few times I have stammered already in this interview. But I can actually talk now. So in my younger years, it was so bad. And then I developed strategies. And I developed strategies over quite a few years. And I went and learned, if you've ever been to like speech therapy, there's always the same thing. You have to slow down. Doesn't work. You have to think of a tick-tock, think of a clock when you're talking. My parents gave me so many almonds to eat. I don't know if they gave them to you or not. Almonds and milk was like breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Then I developed a strategy, and then I've got it here, if I can find it. I wrote a book. In my 30s. That's a younger version of me with a clean shave. I think I look better with my beard. I had 10,000 copies of this printed, and I gave them out to parents. I think I was about 31 then, so many years ago. And for me, that's been a buzz because I still get parents that email me saying that their child has benefited from this book, and that's been great. But having a speech impediment, I think it's like a chip on your shoulder, isn't it, Abid? You know that you've got to work a bit more harder than everybody else. Yeah.
But when it comes to putting out social media content, you know, we talk about people being nervous. I mean, I think when putting out social or making a video, many people start stuttering anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. What would you say to people about, you know, putting out videos? I mean, and is it really industry specific? Like, is there any sectors or any industries that you can think of where video marketing or social media marketing wouldn't work? Is it generic?
It would work in every industry. I'm surprised that people like Zara and stuff don't make more social media content that you can like relate to. That's not corporate. You can use in any business, and I think every business should be doing it. Now, regarding being nervous, remember when you first drove a car when you were 17, 18, how nervous you were. And it's only when you had an instructor next to you who gave you advice, who was there in case he could press the brake to try and slow you down, and he can tell you which way to turn, left or right, and calm you down. That's what you need. Sometimes people need a mentor that can help them overcome certain barriers. That's the first thing. And I don't think enough businesses go and get the right type of mentors. This whole thing about right now, there's this whole thing that everybody wants to be like a business guru, that someone that can help them with growing their business. And it's a massive, massive industry. What people don't go and seek is how can you try and find somebody who can help you with public speaking, help you make better videos. And you are going to fail and burn for the first 15, 20. I've put out a couple of hundred videos now on YouTube. And if you watch my older ones, they are terrible. But that is the learning process that you go through. When you drive a car, you are going to like stall the car. You are going to make mistakes. Then you get better and better and better at it. So it is just about keep on trying it. And what happens is people fail and then they stop. What they don't realize is when you fail, you just have to keep on going, because you are going to have that in life generally anyway. And that's what separates people.
That's all part of the growing process, isn't it? I mean, you've got to fail to learn.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you've also created your own product. So as well as being a podiatrist, as well as being a social media marketing guru, dare I say, and you've clearly developed a lot of knowledge and understanding over the time, you've also developed your own products. What are they all about?
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back in time again. So this is 1997. I was a podiatrist working in Birmingham Sandwell Hospital. Young, handsome podiatrist that I still am right now. And at that time, there was no Google. There was no Google. There was AOL was the big thing, and Google was in its infancy. There was a few e-commerce websites, but not many. So I had a patient ask me in the chair, I want to buy this particular felt padding. Where do I get it from online? And I thought, there isn't a website that sells foot products online. I thought, okay. Back in those days, I had no money. I couldn't employ a web designer, because in those days there were very few, and those ones that were around in 1997, they were expensive. They were extortionate. So I thought, bugger this, I'm going to learn this myself. So there was no YouTube to go and learn from, which you can do now. I bought books on how to design websites. So I created the first website to sell foot products online, drfoot.co.uk. Launched in 1997. This is a long time ago. Literally overnight, with very little marketing, which you couldn't do now. With very little marketing, no advertising, I started getting sales straight away. And it went to a stage where I was working from my house, and I had a spare bedroom. I was getting 5-10 orders a day. It went up to 30-40. It went up to 150 orders a day, and I couldn't cope. At this stage, I had boxes all over the house. I had articulated like big lorries coming to the house, dropping off stock from Spain and around the world, which was quite funny. And that's when I had to leave the NHS and put all my time and attention to Dr. Foot. And obviously, it's evolved a hell of a lot, and we've got 32 websites now that are e-commerce based, and we've got some we sell like to other businesses, obviously we sell to customers around the world. And developing the products was very interesting, because at that time there was no Alibaba Express or Alibaba. So what did you have to do to get somebody? I went to China, and I was only in my late 20s. Couldn't speak Chinese. Got a interpreter. Had to find the factory that would make my insoles for me, because I wanted my own branded Dr. Foot orthotics. So that's where it started off from. But I encourage all my health professionals and other businesses to start e-commerce businesses. I think generally with e-commerce, you've got two things. You can either sell a service. So you can either sell, for example, you want to become a speaking coach, or you want to become
there's loads of online platforms now that you can subscribe to and sell your online. I mean, selling online courses now, what they're saying is going to be one of the next big things after COVID. You know, because the whole business landscape has changed. But you very cleverly discovered this 20 odd years ago. So you have a 20-year head start on many.
It's evolving. It's the head start that was for that game. The game has changed, and it's changing constantly. Like you just mentioned, there's different platforms. Like back in those days, there was no Amazon. There's 5. I mean, we sell on 5 different platforms. On Amazon, you got Etsy, you got eBay. You don't have to learn how to code a website now. You can design a website on like a Shopify, or Wix. In fact, if you don't want a website, we can get a funnel. So let me explain to my visitors well, not my visitors, Abid's visitors, what a funnel is. So for example, let me give you an example. During this lockdown period, all the gyms were shut, weren't they? So yeah. I thought to myself, if I had the time, this is what I would do. I would create an ebook to teach people how to exercise within exercise bands, different exercise bands, cardio, different parts of the body. And I would give that ebook away free of charge on a funnel. People would naturally download it because they were interested in it. They were at home. Once they've downloaded it, I would send them a series of other videos for the next 13 days with emails, getting them to buy my exercise bands. And in fact, if I was even more clever, I would actually brand my exercise bands with Dr. Foot or with whatever, so that nobody could really copy me because they're actually branded. They could do their own, and you can do that with any business. You just need to think laterally rather than just thinking, I'm going to put out a course on a certain platform. What I'm seeing right now is how to make good video courses, how to succeed in your business, how to improve your accounting, X, Y, and Z. There are these courses out there, but because they haven't put enough free content out there, you haven't got enough of a lead magnet. You need something that people can hold on to, thinking, okay, I've got some content here now, so I now like this person. I now trust this person, so I can market to them. And once you have somebody's email address, that's like a gold nugget. Yes. And you can build from it. Absolutely, you can build from it. As long as you're authentic.
Yes.
Sorry?
Data is the currency of the future, isn't it?
That's right. Absolutely. In fact, it goes even more. For example, if I know from my data, if I know that my person's email address is male or female, are they aged between 25 to 45? What kind of car are they driving, for example? Are they focused on certain things? Like, do they like certain sports? You can create a whole different strategy based on your demographics that you have.
Okay, I have a question coming in, but it's a bit. I'm in the process of launching a new podiatry clinic. So how do you develop a strong brand? That's coming from Mr. Tosif.
Mr. Tosif is somebody who I am helping at the moment, so he's being a bit cheeky by asking this question. He's developing. Now, Tosif is a very interesting case, and I'll tell you why. Tosif, a year ago, was too scared to come on video. He was too scared to create content. Tosif now has got the confidence to create videos that that are giving away free content. They're giving away free advice. His ability to create that has improved his brand considerably. He's now getting patients that are coming to him off the back of a video, and they're coming from all over the UK. So he is doing that, and he's got an awesome clinic. It's on Holborn High Street, really good clinic, and he has changed a lot. It just goes to show that a leopard can develop new spots, can change the color of their spots. It's just a matter of getting that confidence, and that takes a bit of time.
Yeah, now coming out of COVID and throughout lockdown, we've had to learn many skills.
That's right.
And we're going to have to, my apologies to the viewers, as I've said in previous programs, because of lockdown and because of the circumstances, we're having to do these videos and interviews remotely. Now, when you do these things remotely, the technical challenges are immense. We seem to be going through one right now where I can't hear him, but he's speaking. So bear with us.
Okay. I mean, look. We need to be innovative about what we're doing. Yeah. So you've got the existing platforms when it comes to social media and getting your brand out there. But what are the new things that are going to happen in 5-10 years time? We know, for example, that Alexa and voice is going to be massive. There is going to come a time where you will just tell your Alexa, which is the best podiatry clinic in Birmingham? Which is the best dentist? Where can I go to find the best insurance? They will give you the top 5 recommendations. How are you going to become in the top 5 recommendations for that? One, you need to get reviews online, so people don't ask for reviews, which they should be doing. But there'll be loads of other factors for that as well. So start thinking ahead to where voice will take us. Voice will be massive in a couple of years' time. I think Twitter is actually waning at the moment. I think that platform is waning because I think video has become such a big thing. VR headsets will become huge. VR headsets, it will become big for people that are selling properties and flats. Imagine not having to go to a flat. You can put a VR headset around, walk around the flat. Brilliant. Like, imagine being able to get medical advice from that VR headset. Absolutely awesome. You can apply that to most businesses. Most businesses. It's that ability to think laterally, but how do you develop that? It's about getting the right mindset, isn't it? So
yes,
if
definitely.
I always tell people what makes iron rust, it's going to be its own rust. What makes a business fail? It's going to be the CEO. If the CEO or the business owner hasn't got the right mindset, they will be set up to fail within their business.
Yeah, but do you not feel that, I mean, like yourself, you became a podiatrist and you could have been content with that and just stayed at that, don't you? But yet you chose to develop and you've created 13 products, selling them internationally, worldwide. You've become a social media guru, expert. You've kind of, you've done your profession, but yet you've gone off and dared to try other things. Do you not feel that many business owners are content where they are, have no desire to grow, and their argument is, well, listen, if it's not broken, why fix it?
So there are a lot of individuals that I class them as sheeps. Now, not everybody's a shepherd. So there are some shepherds who like to lead the way, and shepherds are the ones that can get lost. Sheep just follow. So there are a lot of people that are content in their lives because they don't want to grow their business, and that's why we have the top 1% and the top 5% and the top 10%, because everybody's mindset is different. So I'm really not even appealing to those people, because even within my own profession, there are people that don't want to push the boundaries. I'm constantly pushing the boundaries by doing new procedures that are getting a lot of flack and quite a lot of love, but constantly doing it. I'm doing it with new products. Like I've created doctor for shoes, orthotics, creams, shoe sprays. Some of them have failed so miserably, and I could have stopped there and then, and some businesses do. And I think it's that fear of going into the unknown. It's the fear of the cliff, falling off the end of the cliff. Before you even get near the cliff, you're just walking. And I think a lot of CEOs, a lot of businesses, and a lot of business owners, if you can address their fears, you can make their business grow.
Yes. So you've also written books. How many books have you written, and what inspired the books?
Apart from the paperback book, I've written 12, 13 different books on different topics. So they tend to be about, say, for example, a particular condition. So if it's heel pain or if it's knee pain, and the main motivating factor for writing those ebooks, as well as the toe lift ebook, which was about toe scars for Afro-Caribbeans, which I will speak about in a short while, was to educate people about how they can help themselves. There was no underlying motive in there. It was because I realized that to develop a brand, you need to give away free content, give away advice. So that was the motivation of doing those ebooks. The toe lift ebook, which was very interesting, it's a procedure for Afro-Caribbeans and South Asians, which I have had a lot of love for, and I'm getting a lot of patients from all over the world coming for. And it's that was mainly because of seeing Afro-Caribbeans and South Asian women in my clinic crying because of the aesthetic appearance of their feet, and the only thing that they could be offered was bone surgery, cutting a bone, putting a screw in. is OTT for something that's just cosmetic. So that's how that developed. But yeah.
Fantastic. So when it comes to your mindset, how important is it to have a positive mindset, irrespective of your profession, irrespective of your trade? Because you've clearly demonstrated that you've changed with the times. You've always wanted to learn more. You've never been content, and you've gone on and you've achieved many great things, mashallah. So when it comes to having a positive mindset, and when it comes to having the right people around you to guide you and encourage your growth, how important is that? And do you feel that as Asians we actually do that enough, or do we implement that enough?
Mindfulness and mindset is the most important factor for any business. You show me the mindset of a CEO, I'll tell you if that business is going to fail or succeed. Straight. I don't care how good the business plan is and how good the marketing plan is. The mindset is the most important thing, and addressing your implicit biases that you have subconsciously that are possibly affecting your home life and your business life is really important. Let me tell you about a study which I find interesting, because I like reading medical studies. There was a medical study where there was a set of patients who had heart operations, and after the heart operation you are in a lot of pain. So half the patients, the doctor came and he put like morphine, he or she put morphine on them, and the patient could see it. The other half, they just had it automatically put into their drip. The half that had the doctor come to put the morphine in, they got far less pain, and they both had the same medication. And the reason why this is that ability that you are expecting something good to happen. As soon as you have that mindset that something good is going to happen and not something bad. So if those people that are constantly having the fear that I'm going to mess this up and I'm going to mess this up, because they're not looking at the road ahead of them. Like I mean, I'll give you an example. I love fast motorbikes. Love them. I love the faster the better. And when you're on a fast motorbike, and if you're breaking the law at a certain speed, if you're going around a bend, you look at the road ahead of you, because if you look at the tree, you're about to die. So you keep on that course. You need to set yourself targets. Now, having a plan is great, absolutely great. But if you don't set yourself achievable goals, daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, you're never going to achieve anything, because you're not holding yourself accountable. So you need to know what is your definition of success. And people don't do that. People don't define success, because if they defined success, then they will know when they failed. And people don't want to know that. People just want to have it fuzzy, like it'll be this or maybe that. And obviously that will change. That will change over time. But within Asians and Afro-Caribbeans as well. I'm not going to generalize, because we have some amazing business men and women from our community and the Afro-Caribbean community. But within certain demographics, because of our bringing, how our parents have brought us up, or because of our peers and our friends, we may have issues that are going back years that may be affecting our mindset. And I think you need the humility to realize that we are all flawed. We're all flawed, but we are working through our flaws. But it is, being mindful of your thoughts in a business is really, really important.
Fantastic. Right, we are running out of time. Now, if I were to ask you to give the viewers 3 tips on growing a brand or building a brand, what would your parting words be?
First of all, be authentic to yourself. Don't try and pretend to be something you're not. Be authentic to your values, and do that with integrity. Number 2, for God's sake, make content that is going to be useful for people. Don't just put pictures of yourself posing, or doing something that is not going to help anybody. Make content that is going to enrich other people's lives, and keep giving. Because when you do good, it will come back to you. It will reciprocate in some manner. So there is like a lot to be said in just doing that. And number 3, don't be afraid to fail. Because when you are in that process of building a brand, you are going to have good days and bad days. Fine.
Yes.
But don't be afraid. Just keep on the grind. You have to love the grind more than all the material things. Forget about the cars and everything else. All that will come in time. That's not your motivating factor. Your motivating factor is that grind.
Yeah. And if people want to get in touch with you, because obviously we have problems with our legs, with our feet, with our ankles, with our knees, with our hamstrings, with our glutes, with everything. I mean, which part of my legs haven't I had a problem with? If they do want to get in touch with you, how can they?
They can visit me. Well, they can visit me either through the website drfoot.co.uk. I'm on all the socials, obviously.
That's easy.
But not me. They should visit any podiatrist that can help them, because a lot of my colleagues can help you as well.
Fantastic. We thank you very, very much for your time this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure. And not only did we learn about podiatry, but we learned about social media marketing, which I think is amazing. And moving forward, it's going to be a thing that every business is going to have to adopt to. Despite how much we want to shy away from it or try and avoid it, there will be a time where if you're not on social media, you're nowhere.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for
your time. Thank you very much.
Viewers,
thank you.
Tune in. Throughout the week, we have various programs, sports programs, political shows, talk shows, and we look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. Keep tuned in. Until next week, stay safe. Whichever tier of the lockdown you are in, keep safe, and see you next week.